you have to do the work to think through how, if somebody is always going to feel contempt towards me, how do I put in boundaries to limit my exposure to that? And how, and I think this one is the hardest one, how do I ensure that my contempt towards the other person who has wronged me in so many ways does not leak out to the point where my kids feel it? Yes. And that is really tough, because you really do have to change your outlook and how you view the other parent.
It is very hard, because you're literally living two lives. You have this, this face of being mom, where you have to be the protector, and you have to be the stable one, and you have to be the one that provides them with continuity and consistency. But behind the scenes, you're dealing with court still, possibly, or you're dealing with, the passive aggressive behavior from the ex, sending you rage text messages or rage emails, telling you all the things you're doing wrong and how everything they do is right when it comes to parenting your child. And so it's like this mental warfare in a way, where you have to kind of fake it till you make it for your children's sake, but then learn how to emotionally regulate on your own with nobody helping you.
Yep.
On having to deal with this ex of yours.
Oh, 100%. And it there's like this study like that talks about, like, if you are in a bad mood and you smile, it will actually start to like make you feel happier because you're physically doing it. And that whole fake it till you make it thing is so real in so many different concepts, because you really do have to fake that this person is not bothering you. Right. Because so much of this is helping people identify, this is the tactic that they're using, and they don't really think I'm a bad parent. They're just saying I'm a bad parent because they want me to react and they want me to, respond to their text message. Right. Mm-hmm. And just identifying what it is. And because at first there's nothing you can do. You have a fucking emotional reaction and you have to fake, nope, it doesn't bother me. Mm-hmm. And the more you do it and the more you practice, it actually starts to become real. I actually had a client, and this is like my favorite way of doing this. And it was a dad. He was having a really hard time not engaging, not justifying himself, not defending himself, and just really letting these horrific emails get to him. Mm-hmm. So we started putting them in ChatGPT and having them rewrite them as comedy scripts. We it was like the sitcom script. And I was like, weird, this is hilarious. This shit that she is doing is fucking hilarious when you look at it. And he could not see it. And I made him we did this for 2 calls straight. We're just going to go back and forth. I'm going to be, I actually was like, I'm going to be you and you get to be the ex-wife. And we're going to read this like a comedy script. And it was something that clicked. And it was like, yeah, because this shit, if you look at it from a different perspective, it's fucking hilarious. Like, the gall that these people have and the absolute insanity of some of their claims and stuff, when you're emotionally connected to it, can feel awful. But from an outside perspective, and this is, I think part of the whole reason I do the Unfuck the way that I do, we need to start looking at these people as hilarious. Yes. They're fucking insane. Yeah. And the stuff that they do is absurd. Yeah. And it can be painful or darkly hilarious. It's like dark humor, but still humor.
Yes. Well, and let's be honest, when you're leaving that type of marriage and then you have to parallel parent with somebody, of that level, they don't have that control over you anymore. So in order to parallel parent with someone, you have to realize too that you can't engage to an extent, because all they're trying to do is control you now through your child. Because that's the only way they still have that source from you, is now through this child.
Your child, and if they still have contact with friends and family members, school, medical providers, why the fuck are doctor's visits the worst things? Because yes, you're both entitled to that information, but they really do. I mean, they focus on that child or children. And, this is where you see, really some of the most heartbreaking stuff where it comes to parental alienation, and yes, whether or not it's through these overt acts, or really what happens a lot more is this kind of consistent drip. When we think of parental alienation, you think of, somebody saying, oh, your mom's a terrible mom. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it is just this really slow, insidious, oh, were you safe? Oh, you didn't have enough to eat. Oh, I'm so sorry. How are you okay? Like that, like fake concern. And it like the kids internalize that and start to learn that they shouldn't feel safe when they're at your house, but they can't articulate it. They don't know what's going on. And it is truly the worst weapon that they have against us. Sometimes also, you just have those horror stories of people who are able to manipulate the courts to
Mhm.
in such an amazing manner that they're able to take away custody and they're able to take away decision making. And it's those are the most heartbreaking because it's not only that your toxic co-parent is a total dickhead, but then the system is failing you.
Right.
And working and learning how to radically accept this is the world and the life and the kind of the cards that you've been given. How do you make sure that you're still having the best impact for your kid as you can? And so much of that has to do with rebuilding yourself.
Yes.
And everyone who's gone through divorce has had everybody tell them, take care of yourself, self-care. And we're all like, fuck off. Like, I don't have time for this shit. But like therapy, like I don't like everybody, you gotta get the therapist, you gotta do the self-work, you gotta figure out why you were in this relationship and like do so much to fix yourself because you need to be so strong and resilient for your kids.
And this is exactly why I started this podcast is it wasn't about saying, look at me, my divorce, and I'm glamorous. It's I put in the work behind the scenes before I started the podcast. I had my ugly cries. I had, the days where it was exchange day and I felt like every morsel in my body was going to break open because I felt so much guilt that I'm handing my baby off to somebody and knowing I'm not going to have her in my life every day. And now there's the shared holidays and there's some of the milestones that you miss when they're little if you leave when they're little. And so you really have to do so much soul searching. And I did all of that. And now I'm able to share all my knowledge, like you, where, you go through these things not as a professional and you learn as you go. And now you're able to share this knowledge with women that are either just beginning the process are in the middle of it or at the end of it, like you and I, where we can walk out of it and now support and help other women that were going through it. Not to say that we're not still going through it in our own way behind the scenes, but we've come to this place now where we laugh about it. We make it light and airy because we've had to go through all the horrible stages of emotions. And now this is where we're at with it all.
And I mean, there's so many terrible things about social media, but one of the things that I think is amazing is you can feel like you are not alone. And
Yes.
I mean, I can't tell you how many people I watched when I was starting to grapple with, is this really narcissism? Is this really a thing? What does divorce look like? Somebody give me a light at the end of the tunnel because I need to know what this is going to look like at the end. And or all of the horrific things that I can expect as I'm going through this tunnel.
Yes.
And so to be able to be kind of give back, and like do that for other people, I think is, I mean, this is the most important job I feel like I have ever had
Same.
because I am actually able to help people through, I mean, some of the most difficult, if not the most difficult times in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not that's, hey, I just saw a reel of yours and, it helped me feel seen, which I love those DMs. Like when people, say like, I thank you so much. I don't feel like I'm alone.
Yes.
So when it's actually helping like a client and kind of going through and seeing their growth. But I mean, it's absolutely insane how common and insidious this kind of dynamic is. And we don't talk about it. Circling back to everybody just getting gaslit by thinking you're supposed to co-parent. And if you can't co-parent, there's something wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want you to know there is nothing wrong with you. You have probably done fucking everything you can to co-parent in the traditional way. And you can't
No.
because they hate you and there's nothing you can do to change it.
No. And at the end of the day, you still have to think about yourself, and it's not selfish. You have to think about your mental and your emotional health.
Right.
Because if
Because,
you
and
what good
one,
are you to your child if you
I
don't?
was like, the strongest predictor of child outcomes of mental child health. I'm now, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting all of my acronyms. is maternal mental health.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Because what are the kids going to do if you're completely and totally a wreck all the time? They need you to be strong, to be happy, and to be present. And if you're going off all the time, getting, letting all of the bullshit that your ex is going to be throwing your way for however many years, if you let it get to you, you cannot be that present parent that you want to be, but more importantly, that your kids fucking deserve.
Exactly. Okay, so you're real about separating clothes. One of my most favorite reels you've ever done, because I connect with it on so many levels. Can we please talk about that? It's so simple, but is it, Livy, I'm serious. Is it seriously the most simplest things are the biggest wins?
Yes, because and this is again because I love fashion, but I don't love it half as much as my child. And and it's those dumb things. And we all get so wrapped around these teeny tiny things because they're the ones that you can like mentally understand. But yeah, I would send my kids in, they're not like fucking designer clothes because, they're children, but like really cute outfits. And I would get them back in small, stained, ripped pieces of shit. And it was just like, I cannot continue to fund my children's wardrobe 100% of the time and never get it back. It's just like, so I did and it was just this really simple, and it's such a hard line because you do not want to make your kids feel like they're, the parental alienation thing. You always want to make sure you're not the one doing it.
Yeah.
But this half of the closet is for days you go to daddy. This half of the closet for days you stay with mommy. And I am grateful. And I know this will not work for everyone because my daughter already, I think she was getting a lot of it from the other household because there's a lot of fear that, oh my God, what if mommy puts a tracker in your backpack, which definitely means there's probably a tracker in her backpack when she comes over here.
Yeah, it's called projection, Livy.
Oh shit. But there's so much fear about things coming over from mommy's house that I was just like, hey, we're just gonna make sure it stays here, and really making sure you're kind of doing that fine line. And and do I still lose clothes over there? Yes, it's fine, and you just kind of accept it. But the really special outfits she does just wear over here, and can I tell you, she's so fucking cute. Oh my God, she puts on her jewel. This girl is 5. Every morning. Jewelry.
That's
makeup.
my daughter. That's my daughter. My daughter says, Mommy, I have the Taylor Swift bracelets. And I'm like, who are you? You're fucking adorable. My daughter is girl to the hilt, man. It took me the longest time to get her in a pair of leggings because leggings were just for boys.
Oh my God. We live where it's cold.
Dresses.
We live where it's cold. I'm like, girl, you cannot wear a dress every day.
It's raining. It's raining. And then it was like pajamas. And so I'm like, okay, I love you. And we can do pajamas all day long every day. But when you go to school, you have to wear suitable clothes. You can't cruise around in your Care Bear onesie, every single day. That's not reality. But it's just, I agree with you. And you know what? I'm sure you can look back at the situation because God is my witness, I do. And I say, you were worth every little bit of that. You are still worth every little bit of this. She is my why, as I'm sure your son and your daughter are. She has made me the woman that I am today. I say this every time. If I had not had a girl, potentially a boy, maybe even a boy, I would have left. But having a girl, something clicked in me where after I had her, I just thought, oh my God, I'm going to be her biggest role model. They always say the same-sex parent is kind of the one that they mirror themselves off of. And I thought I have to show her resilience, that when things get tough, you grab your big girl panties, you stick them on, and you make those hard decisions, But she is just, I cannot agree with you more. She is my everything, and she's hilarious. I love her. I love hanging out with my daughter. She's so fun.
It is true. And I think that there is some validity to that. Because I will say, I definitely, my first thought was I could not stand seeing my daughter treated like this. My second thought was I could also not see my son treating someone like this. And that is not to say, those are my thoughts. And it absolutely could have been reversed and but it was really, there was something about that. Because you see yourself. I mean, and that's one of the joys of parenting, is when you can see little bits of yourself or your personality coming out in your kids, and the immense amount of love you have for your children, and then imagining your children suffering the way that you did,
Right.
is I mean, and I mean, enough. It was enough to get me out. I had attempted to leave my marriage multiple times before having children, and I chickened out every time. Had a kid, I was fucking out of there.
Were you fear-based? Was that what kept reeling you back in? Was it the
Anxiety
conditioning?
based. It was definitely that, like, oh, maybe I was wrong. Maybe it is me. It was always, maybe it's me. It was always I must have done something wrong. I'm ungrateful. I should go. I went to couples therapy by myself because he refused to go. Maybe I need to go back to couples therapy. I mean, for all the things, he was a master at making me doubt myself. And coming out of that is eye-opening, and the immense amount of just, and I'm sure you might have experienced this too, the brain fog
Yes.
that people who are in narcissistic relationships have, where, because you've been gaslit for so many years
Yes.
and made to doubt yourself, that it truly was. It was like, once that decision to leave was made, that fog lifted, and it was like a year and a half, 2 years later, I was like, every day I woke up and I'm like, my memory's better than it was a week ago. Like it wasn't just like a little, it was so insane how much that relationship and all of the mental and emotional abuse. And I feel like we need to start getting used to saying that it is abuse, really does affect your entire world. And it is insane how much we don't recognize how it's affecting us when we're actually in it.
Yes, 100%. Well, Livy, I can't thank you enough for coming on this podcast. I'm so honored that you wanted to be a part of it. And I also just want to thank you too for your real and authentic views, and having the gumption and audacity, girl, to go on and just be real about what that looks like when you are parallel parenting with somebody like that, because there are women and men living it every single day, and it's torture. And yeah, we need more people like you that are just open and real about what it looks like.
Oh, thank you. And I mean, I say it at the end of almost all of my videos, but we really are in this together, and we have got to support each other, share our stories, and I mean, I'll do the same thing you do too. Like, make us seen so the rest of us feel like we're not alone.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Hey Xies, it's your girl Lauren, and I just am here to say I appreciate all the love and support, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe so that the podcast can provide you with more valuable and meaningful work to support you on your journey.